Welcome to Looking at Legal Stuff. Today we have 4 hearings with a series of deadbeat parents who aren't paying their child support and have been brought before a judge to explain themselves. We will hear all sorts of ridiculous excuses from a variety of different folks, including a mother who has been brought in on over 15 bench warrants in 3 separate cases, a man who says he's too busy going to court on his recent OWI charges to get a job, a mother of 5 who's pregnant yet again, and a man who complains he shouldn't have to pay because he always has the child but then asks the court if he can sign his rights away instead of having to pay support. Let's see what the judge thinks of these excuses.
Who do we have before us, Ms. Brown?
Alexandria Crouch. She has 3 dockets.
Okay. Ms. Kraus, in this matter, you're before the court charged with civil contempt of court as a result of your failure to pay child support and related expenses upon a first violation. You could be held in contempt of court for up to 45 days. If it's a second or subsequent offense, up to 90 days in jail. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Court has appointed Ms. Huffman to represent you in this matter. Have you had sufficient opportunity to speak to Ms. Huffman in preparation for this proceeding?
Yes, I have, sir.
Okay. And Ms. Huffman, are you ready to proceed?
I am.
Okay. Ms. Brown, I'll have you and Ms. Kraus raise your right hand. We'll have you sworn in, then we'll proceed.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead, Ms. Brown.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Crouch is before the court today for a bench warrant hearing on 3 dockets. Docket 2008-403, docket 2009-1494, and docket 2017-2846. Ms. Crouch failed to appear at a hearing before Your Honor in January of this year. On the 2008 docket, Ms. Crouch has a monthly obligation of $72.50. Her last payment was March 2nd of 2023. That was through an income withholding with unemployment. This is her 9th bench warrant hearing on the 2008 case. She has a total shortfall of $858.25 and a total arrears of $2,279.78. On the 2009 case, Ms. Crouch has a monthly obligation of $143.50. Her last payment was March 2nd of 2023. That was $43.23 through that income withholding. This is the 7th bench warrant on the 09 case. Her total shortfall is $1,626.34. The total arrears are $8,022.79. On the 2017 case, Ms. Crouch has a monthly obligation of $169.50. Again, her last payment was March 2nd of 23. That was $55.71. This is the 5th bench warrant on the 17 case. Her shortfall is $1,910.73. Total arrears are $7,554.60. Further, the court would like the court to be aware that Ms. Crouch booked into the Calhoun County Jail on February 29th. She was sentenced to serve 90 days back in December of 2019.
Okay. Ms. Huffman, do you dispute or contest any of the statements made by Ms. Brown?
I do not.
Do you have any questions for Ms. Brown?
Yeah, I would just ask a couple things. First of all, on each case, you indicated a monthly obligation, but that includes the arrearages. Is that correct?
Correct.
And there's a $50 arrearage on each of those cases?
Yes.
Is that typical to put a $50 arrearage on all all individual cases?
So each case is set individually, let me say that. We have a guideline amount, but this $50 amount for Ms. Crouch was actually judicially set back in 2015.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any proofs, Ms. Huffman?
Yeah, I would call Alexandria Crouch, please.
Okay, go ahead.
Andrea, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. So I'm just gonna ask you questions regarding it's gonna be standard questions regarding all three of the cases, okay?
Okay.
All right, are you currently working anywhere?
I take care of elderly couple, but I'm paid under the table as of right now. And I had employment, but due to being in here, have lost that opportunity and probably several others.
Okay, so regarding the individuals that you take care of and get paid under the table, how much do you get paid on those?
$14 an hour,
And how many hours do you work a week?
over 40.
And do you pay any of your child support obligations with that money?
I haven't yet. I plan to start.
Okay, how long have
I was gonna say, I just started taking care of them about a month ago.
and how long do you expect to be doing that job?
Until they pass away, unfortunately.
Okay, are they relatives of yours?
It's an ex's grandparents.
Okay. So you've been looking for other more stable employment, is that
Yeah,
correct?
yeah.
Okay, and where have you been looking?
Indeed is my main source for that.
Did you say Indeed?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And have you put applications in
Oh,
or
yeah.
resume?
Yes.
Okay. How many do you say you put in a week or a month? How often do you put?
I probably put at least 10 in a week.
Okay. And did you have an interview recently or no?
I've had interviews lined up that I've missed due to being in here.
Okay, so it says that your last payment was in 2023, March of 2023. Why haven't you made a payment since then?
I haven't been employed and I honestly, I have a past of drug use and I haven't been clean up until just this past year.
Okay, so how long have you been, I guess, clean and sober? How long have you been without drug use?
6 months.
Okay. And would you say in that last 6 months that you've been looking for a job the whole time?
Probably not the whole 6 months, but at least 4 of them.
Okay. Is there a reason why you're not able to get employment?
Transportation probably would be one of the biggest ones, but
Okay, do you have a driver's license?
no.
Why do you not have a driver's license?
It was suspended a while back. I actually, I have to, because if after like, I think it's 4 years of having a suspended license, you have to like do all the testing all over again. And I've taken the test at Secretary of State. I just have to take the road test. So as soon as I do that, I'll have my license reinstated.
Okay, when do you expect to do that?
Soon.
Like within the next month? If you're released today, would you be able to do it within the next month? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
And could you have your driver's license within the next 45 to 60 days?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so are you able to make any payment towards your support obligation now? Or when would be the first you could make a payment?
Like I said, I can make a $300 payment as soon as I can be released, and then I can make another one the following Friday, which I think you said was the 29th.
Okay, so you would not be able to make any payment at all unless you're released?
I don't know. I think I got like a little under $100 in my account here right now. I mean, and you guys are more than welcome to it if that's what, you know.
Okay, so you could pay that $100 today and then pay another 300 as soon as you're released, like the day you're released?
Yes, yes.
And then another 300 by next Friday, the 29th?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. I have no further questions. Thanks.
Okay. Ms. Kraus, you've stated that a lot of things that you could do. Well, I could get my license in the next 45 days. Yes, I could get this employment, but you haven't done it now, and other than the last month, you hadn't done it for 11 months before that. Why didn't you do it 11 months before that?
Like I said, I have a history of drug use and I was screwing up, and I will admit to that and take responsibility for that.
Okay, but you said that you'd been clean for about 6 months, so during that
Yeah.
6 months, you didn't have the drug issue. Why weren't you employed during that time?
I don't know. I really don't have an excuse. I mean, except for the past month or so that I've been taking care of these, you know, these elderly people.
Yeah. And let's go on that. You said that you've been working 40 plus months, so minimally, each of the for the last month, each of those weeks, you made about, at the minimum, $560 a week. And you didn't pay a cent on your support obligation. Why is that?
Well, I mean, I paid 500 the last time that I was arrested. I paid 500. I don't know if that counts towards anything or not, but
No, I'm asking you about the last month, not when you were arrested before that.
oh, okay.
Because you said that you made at least $560 a week for caring for them at $14 an hour and for 40 plus hours a week. But yet in the last month, when you've been making that money, you haven't paid a cent on your support obligation. Why?
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I still talk to my kids and I give my kids money when they need it. You know, my oldest is 17 and he's graduating this year, and he needs the help right now. And I know that doesn't count towards, you know, anything because
Well,
it's not.
you could
it's not
help him by
support.
paying the support obligation, and that money would go to whoever the custodial parent is, and they could take care of it.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else, Ms. Huffman?
Nothing further. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, the court has heard the testimony in this matter that Ms. Crouch is well familiar with the three cases that she has in this matter and her support obligation. She'd previously been incarcerated for 90 days back in December of 2019 as a result of failure to comply and with the support order, so she's well aware of that. She stated that in the last month, she's worked 40 plus hours a week, making $14 an hour. So her minimal amount would have been $560 per week. That notwithstanding that, she's not made any payments toward the support obligation in this matter. She professes that, she will now start making payments, and that she is going to get her driver's license now that she hasn't got before. So she's made many claims as what she's going to do, but the court's not impressed with the fact of what she is actually, her actions and what she's done. And it's not unusual for people to profess everything under the sun when they're before the court. And yet, again, the history does not demonstrate that she intends to do that. The court will find that she's failed to exercise due diligence, failed to pay out of available resources, and therefore she is in contempt of court. With that, Ms. Huffman, anything before sentencing?
I would just ask the court to consider setting a purge amount in this case for the $300 that's I think she said she had $100 in her account right now. So if you could set a purge amount for $100 and then with a payment due by next Friday of another $300, I would ask the court to do that. Thank you.
Okay. Well, based on the history of this matter, it looks like, Ms. Crouch, that you're gonna turn some things around, so the court is taking that into consideration in this matter. You've previously been, again, sentenced to 90 days. The court could sentence you to 90 days again. But I'm not going to do so. What I am going to do, however, I am going to sentence you in this matter to 60 days in jail with credit for 21 days served. The court would put a purge amount in each of your cases in the amount of, because in each of these, the first case you owe about 2,300, you owe over 8,000, then you owe about 7,500. What the court is going to do is set a purge amount in each case in the amount of $300. If you're able to do that, you wouldn't have to serve the additional time. Any questions, Ms. Huffman?
No, nothing further. Thank you.
Thank you. You're free to go. Have a good day. And this is Mr. Gray.
Yep.
Mr. Gray, in this matter, you're before the court charged with civil contempt of court due to your failure to pay child support and or related expenses. Upon a first conviction, you could be ordered to serve up to 45 days in jail. If it's a second or subsequent offense, up to 90 days in jail. Do you understand the charges?
Yes.
Court has appointed Ms. Huffman to represent you in this matter. Have you had sufficient opportunity to speak to Ms. Huffman in preparation for this proceeding?
Yes.
Ms. Huffman, are you ready to proceed?
I am. Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Petrulli, I'll have you and Mr. Gray raise your right hand. We'll have you sworn in, then we'll proceed.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
I do.
Ms. Petrulli, you can proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is the case of Shelby Pike versus Brandon Gray, docket 2020-619-DS. Mr. Gray is before the court by way of a bench warrant hearing that was adjourned from last week to allow him to be represented by court counsel. He has a minimal support obligation of $103.55 a month, $50 toward the arrearage, which would be guideline, $3.50 for fees, for a total of $157.05. I'm not sure if that 55 is correct. I will clarify that. But in any event, he did post a $300 bond that front of the court is asking me forfeited and applied to the arrearage. The bench warrant is a result of his failure to appear at an adjourned hearing on November 14th, 2023. He's had 3 prior show causes, 2 bench warrants, and 1 finding of contempt. In the last year, he should have paid a total of $1,884.60. He paid $887.26. It left him short of compliance, $997.34. And I will note for the record that amount seems, the amount that he paid is much higher because we collected the income withholding at a much higher rate than just $50. So it's not like he was paying for any extended period of time. The arrearage in this case through the month of February is $1,409.39. Again, that amount doesn't seem too high, but his obligation is only $103 a month. He doesn't owe any state owed arrearages. He did have a 21-day sentence back on July 6th of 2022 that was stayed pending him paying the purge. He did not pay the purge, so a bench warrant issued, and then in December of 2022, he contacted our office and paid $500 to resolve the bench warrant. He booked in on March 3rd. He paid the purge and got out the following day, so he has 1 day credit. He's not working. He is not paying. He comes up with money to get out to avoid jail sentences. So it appears he has the ability to come up with money, but just refuses to pay his child support.
Clarify if you could, Ms. Petrulio. You state that back in July 2022 that they stayed the matter of his 21 days, but he never paid the purge at that time. Is that correct?
That's correct. And so what happened is we got a bench warrant due to his failure to pay the purge and report to jail. So when it came time, he contacted our office to say, I have a bench warrant. What can I do to resolve it? And he paid the $500 at that point to resolve it.
Sir, you understand that when you paid the $500, that was only to take care of the bench warrant, not the prior sentence in this matter.
Yeah, I don't know. That's all the way from a year ago.
I don't care if it's from 2 years ago. It's still
He said
an
21
order of the
days.
court, sir.
He said 21 days or $500.
You did not pay the purge amount.
I
sir.
paid
What you did-
$500 cash to a
No.
sheriff.
When a bench warrant issued because you didn't pay the purge amount, then they have a bench warrant, and the bond in the bench warrant case is $500. It doesn't take care of your purge amount.
Then what the 500 go to? That's what I was told. I was
The
told
five,
pay
the 500
$500.
would have went towards the arrearage in this particular matter, but not to satisfy the purge amount.
I'm not sure how it all works. I was just told 21 days or $500. I paid $500.
Well, you didn't pay it on time though, sir. That's the problem. You didn't pay it on time,
I'm at
so they entered a bench warrant for you.
sheriff something at the
Okay.
child support office at the
Okay.
courthouse.
Ms. Hoffman, do you dispute or contest any of the statements made by Ms. Petrulio?
No, I just have some questions about
Okay, go ahead.
that. Okay. So, the purge amount was how much? 3 or 500?
5.
I believe it was 500.
Okay, so the purge amount was $500, and then he took care of the bench warrant with $500 for the bench warrant, but not the purge. Is that correct?
Right. Basically, he was ordered to report to the county jail or pay the purge by a certain date. He didn't do it. He didn't pay the purge and didn't report. So a bench warrant issued. So then he's like, oh, I got a bench warrant. Now I want to pay the bond. So the bond was 500, the same as what the purge was, but it was paid 5 or 6 months later.
Okay, so when you say the bond was the same as the purge, but it was the same amount, but it wasn't for the same thing?
I never even
It
heard
was-
nothing about a purge.
The purge
Wait.
becomes a bench warrant. The purge becomes a bond because he didn't report to jail like he was ordered to do. He was ordered to serve
Okay.
21 days.
Okay, so
Okay,
does
purge.
he still owe the $500 purge?
I don't know. That can be addressed by the judge.
Okay, thank you. And then the $500 bond that he did pay, was that used for arrearages?
Yes, it was basically not even a bond. It was in a bench warrant agreement letter where we said, okay, we'll take $500 to resolve this warrant. And yes, it was applied to the arrearage back in December of 2022. So,
Okay, so then I would argue that that was the purge amount, but either way, thank you for clearing that up.
Just for clarifications, Ms. Hoffman, is an individual can't come in 5 or 6 months later after they're supposed to pay a purge amount and say, oh, now I'm gonna do it and take care of it. That's not how it works.
Okay. Okay, all right, so I would like to call my client, Mr. Gray, as a witness, please.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Hoffman.
Thank you. Mr. Gray, are you currently working?
No, I do odd jobs with my girlfriend's stepdad.
What, I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
Just not at the moment because all the court dates that I have in a row, but once they spread out, I do odd jobs as of now. Just like right when this ends, I'm working painting until 1, and then I gotta go to court.
Okay, on these odd jobs, how much do you average a month?
It just depends. Like I'm making 300, and that's money, money, car money.
Okay, how
Okay,
much?
so you broke up. I only heard part of that. Did you say will make $300 today?
No, when the painting's done, we got 3 or 4 days.
Oh, when the job is done, you'll get $300?
Yes, and then rent, bills, car payment. My girlfriend has a job too, so that helps a little bit.
Okay. So you intend to find a stable job?
Yes, I already have one. It was already given to me by one of her dad's friends, but you know, you can't
Where
call
at?
in. Whispering Oaks is a junkyard. But you know, you can't call in 4 times a week for go to court.
Okay, so are you going to court 4 times a week?
No, last week was 2, today's
Okay.
2, this week's 2, next week is 1, then the week after is 1, and then I start working.
Are they all for this case or different cases?
Different cases.
Okay. When do you expect to have all your cases resolved?
As of right now, the furthest court date I have out is April 5th, and that's a plea deal that I took, so that one should just be over. And then I have another one, but I just got out of bond out of jail last week, and they just handed me like 4 or 5 court dates, all day after day, pretty much.
You got out of jail when?
Like a week and a half ago. Paid $1,400. Got out of jail on pretty much emptied our savings account.
Was any of that towards your support?
300 of it.
300 of it, okay.
It was 500, but I tried to I asked the judge because I had to be able to afford the other bonds.
Okay. So is that 300 is in addition to the other $500 that you paid for your bench warrant?
Yeah, I paid 500, 300, and then I had to pay a little bit extra to the bondsman who had to pay more. But
okay. I'm just thinking about towards this case. So you paid 300 and 500, right?
No.
For the last one, but I paid 300 this time.
Okay.
I might not make my payment on time, but you can't make no money in jail, so I gotta be able to get out.
Hang on. Have they used the $300 that you just paid last week? Have they used that for your support?
Yes.
To clarify, I think he's talking about the bond in this matter. There was a bond of $300.
It went towards the support.
Well, it doesn't go to it until I forfeit the bond, so.
So are you willing to allow the court to put that $300 to, you're willing to allow that, to consent to it, right? To put that $300 towards okay. All right. So, so then the court will likely do that. And then when is the next time you can make a payment?
It just depends. It could be tomorrow or next week, but I'll have a payment within a week and a half, 2 weeks, the earliest. It's just because I got a driving license thing I have to pay on. And then we got an electric bill. But after that, I'll be able to make a payment.
Okay. So do you think you could make a payment within 10 days?
Probably between like $50 and $100. Yeah, I could definitely do that.
$50 to $100 within 10 days.
Yeah. Well, Friday I got a $150 check coming, but 100 that's towards the bill. But I'll be able to put 50 on it by the end of next week, guaranteed.
Okay. All right. So the soonest you're going to be able to get a job is April 5th. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, it'll be after. I already went to the job and they wanted me to start, but I told them what was going on. They didn't want me calling in so much.
Okay. How much will you be making per hour?
It's at 14 right now, but hopefully it goes up.
And will you be working 40 hours per week? Will you be working 40 hours per week?
I'm not sure yet. They didn't give me a schedule.
Okay. Is there any reason why you haven't had a job up until now?
I had a job for all.
When did you have a job?
They were deducting money out of my check every week for child support. But
okay, and what happened with that job?
I got an OUI and they let me go. That's what the plea deal for April 5th is for, is my OUI.
Okay, on that, so are you going to be sentenced on that day?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what your sentence will be?
It's just probation. Couple months. Probation, yes.
Okay, all right. I have no further questions. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Gray, in this matter, let's say in the last year, other than the odd jobs, if you say, in the last year, what jobs, full-time jobs have you worked?
I worked at Sheriff Gosselin last year all the way until May, until I got an OUI.
Okay. Obviously, during the time, how long did you work at Sheriff Gosselin?
About a year and a half.
Well, based upon the arrearage in this matter, you have an arrearage in excess of $1,400, and you're only paying about $150 per month. So when you worked at Sheriff Gosselin for a year and a half, you weren't paying any support during that time. Why?
I mean, according to my bank stuff, it was getting taken right out of my paychecks.
When you were asked about the odd jobs, you said you'd make about $300. Is that on average per month?
It just depends. The jobs come and go.
Okay.
I mean, that's just temporary because of all these court dates.
Okay. What's your education background, sir?
I got some high schooling.
Did you graduate?
Nope.
How far did you go?
10th grade.
Have you sought out your GED to complete that?
I did the first 2 tests, but I never finished it. It's a work in progress. My girlfriend's just talking about that.
When was the last time you took any classes for your GED?
I mean, it's been a while. Got a busy life. That's a lot going on.
Well, don't you think that would help you to get employment if you, again, completed and had a high school diploma?
Probably.
Anything else you'd like me to be aware of, sir?
I mean, other than the job coming up that I'm getting, not really.
Okay.
I
Ms.
mean-
Pike, is there anything you'd like me to be aware of?
This is not my turn.
Yes, Your Honor, I have, my last child support payment was last year of $50. He is in and out of jail for drug charges and nothing for any kind of support. Aubrey is home Monday through Sunday, 7 days a week, and I'm not getting any type of help. He doesn't get any visitation. I do have full custody of her right now, until the judge recommends some kind of rehab.
Anything else, ma'am?
I'm sorry about that. My daughter was doing something. So like I said, he's in and out of jail he has money to support drugs and bond money, but he never has money to support every month for the child. And it's the only time the amount of money comes is when he's bonding out of jail, as the record would show that's the only time that he really pays. So I'm recommending something happening because right now I'm not getting any kind of help with her.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Anything else, Ms. Huffman?
So I would just ask the court to consider that he was just in custody last week, is my understanding, and that he did just pay a $300 bond. So I would ask the court to take that into consideration when making its finding. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, Ms. Huffman, at least he was in jail, but not for this matter last week. It was for the other matter. So he's not getting credit for a time that he wasn't in on
He
this.
was in jail yesterday for arson. Yeah.
Well, the court's heard the testimony in this matter that Mr. Gray has stated that, again, he's well aware of the support obligation as he has been incarcerated previously, that there was a 21-day jail sentence back on July 6, 2022, and we've already went through that particular matter, that he was picked up on his other case and it was held, so he has credit for 1 day served on this particular matter. That he stated he's not working, he works odd jobs, makes approximately $300 per month. He has in the past. He, however, he has not paid towards the support obligation in this matter, which is minimal, just $150 some per month. And he's not paid consistently in this particular case. He's paid when he obviously has a bond or a bench warrant or something else, but not on the support obligation, other than again, incidentally to again get himself out of jail. He stated that he was employed by Sheriff Goslin up through May of 2023. He'd been employed there for a year and a half. Lost that job when he had a drunk driving offense. However, it doesn't appear, based upon the amount of arrearage, that, again, that he was paying consistently at that particular time. And he hasn't, since the Sheriff Goslin, he hasn't paid, even though he's had the $300 per month, he hasn't been paying on his support obligation. Court will find that he's failed to pay out of available resources, failed or refused to comply in this matter, and therefore the court will hold him to be in contempt of court. Anything for sentencing, Ms. Huffman?
I would just ask the court to, if the court's going to require that he serve that 21 days with 1 day credit, I would ask for a purge amount to be set in the amount of the $50 to $100 that he indicated he could pay within the next week. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Well, sir, what happens is I'm not limited to the 21 days that you'd previously been ordered to serve. I could have you serve up to 90 days in jail.
How long way to go here?
What?
I guess
I'm not going to sentence you to that much time in this matter, but I'm going to sentence you to an amount that would impress upon you. You have to take care of this particular matter. What I'm going to do, I am going to, first of all, I'm going to forfeit the bond previously posted. Court's going to sentence you to 45 days in jail with credit for 1 day served. What I'm going to do, because thankfully your arrearages are a smaller amount, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you to jail, require that you report to the sheriff's department.
There ain't no money I can pay, bro. You just finna send me straight to 45 days in jail.
Yep, I'm gonna get to that.
All right.
I'm not done, sir. Court is gonna order that you report to the sheriff no later than 4:00 p.m. on March 29, 2024. No. We lost Mr. Gray.
He might have hung up.
Well, we'll give him a time to, a few minutes to rejoin.
You want me to try to call him, Your Honor?
Yeah, if you would, Miss Petrolia, I would appreciate that.
See if I can, all right. I told him, hopefully he'll zoom right in.
Okay.
While we're waiting for him.
Okay, Mr. Gray, I was concluding, I'd say that you have to serve that time. You have to report to the sheriff no later than March 29, 2024. That gives you about a week and a half. What the court's going to do is the court is going to, because of the forfeiture of the bond, what the court is going to do is I'm putting a minimal. I'm going to have you put your purge amount in the amount of $200. If you're able to post the purge amount, then you wouldn't serve the time in jail. You understand?
Yes.
Okay. But I want to be clear, if in fact you do not pay the purge amount by the March 29th date or go to jail, that in this particular matter, you're gonna end up serving the balance of your 44 days. You understand?
And the warrant goes out tomorrow,
What?
so it'll be a warrant until the day I pay it.
No.
There's no warrant now,
Okay.
okay?
Yeah.
But if you don't do this by March 29th, 2024, there will be a bench warrant out for you.
So I'll just pay 200 to the child support office.
Yes,
Okay.
okay?
Yeah.
That will conclude the matter, and you're free to go. Have a good day.
I'm not muted, am I?
No.
Okay.
Okay? Ms. Trim, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Trim, in this matter, you're before the court charged with civil contempt of court due to your failure to pay child support and or related expenses. Upon a first conviction, you could be ordered to serve up to 45 days in jail. If it's a second or subsequent offense, up to 90 days in jail. Do you understand the charges?
Call 800-276,000.
Okay, whoever has something on in the background, please shut it off. Ms. Trim, in this matter, the court has appointed Ms. Huffman to represent you in this case. Have you had sufficient opportunity to speak to Ms. Huffman in preparation for this hearing?
Jessica, he's talking to you. Have you had
Oh,
time to
I'm
speak
sorry.
to me? Yeah, that's
Yes,
okay.
I spoke with her right before. She tried to get me a dial-in number because the video and stuff wasn't working.
Okay. My question is, did you have sufficient opportunity to speak to Ms. Huffman to prepare for this case?
Yes.
Okay. And Ms. Huffman, are you ready to proceed?
I am, thank you.
Okay. Jessica Trim, I'm going to ask that you would raise your right hand. We'll have you sworn in. Know that Ms. Petrulli had already previously been sworn in.
Ma'am, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Petrulio, you can proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Trim is before the court today by way of an adjourned hearing to monitor compliance with LEAP. She has a current support obligation of $204 a month. She's to pay the arrearages pursuant to guideline at $50 plus fees for a total of $257.50. Her last payment paid was $125 on November 21st of 2022, and that was to resolve a bench warrant. She has had 5 prior show causes, 2 bench warrants, as well as a contempt finding. In the last 2 months, she should have paid a total of $515. She's paid nothing. The arrearage on this case is $2,884.34, and that's through the month of February. I would not ask that she be allowed to go back to LEAP. She's failed numerous times with excuses every single time. She hasn't paid since 2022. She did have a contempt finding that was in June of 2017, and she was sentenced to 45 days in the county jail, and it was suspended compliance with compliance of the support enforcement order. So
What was the year of that sentence?
June of 2017.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Ms. Huffman, do you dispute or contest any of the statements made by Ms. Petrulio?
I do not. I just have a few questions.
Okay, go ahead.
Did Ms. Trim pay from 2017? You indicated she had to have full compliance. Did she pay from 2017 to 2022 regularly at that time?
Let me look here.
I was modified to 0 at some point.
I can say she paid much more regular than she is now. I mean, it's been a year and a half at least since she's made any payments on the case. So yeah, it looks like especially in 2021, she paid fairly consistent up until June.
Okay, thank you. The support order was modified, looks like November 2nd of 2023. What was that, increased or decreased at that time?
Increased.
Was it based on actual or imputed income?
I don't know offhand.
Okay, that's fine. Do you know why it was increased? Was it just a regular 3-year check, support review?
If you want me to look, I can see if I can figure that out. I don't have that information available, but I can look if you'd like me to.
Well, I was just kind of getting to the point, trying to make the point of maybe it's time for her to look into amending the support obligation again, but it was just done. So if it was done with the amount of money she's actually making versus imputed, but I'll let her, you don't have to look, I'll let her make the decision whether she wants to.
Okay, I found something. It looks like there was an unordered change in custody. So a review was done. Minor child Lillian was with Nina Trim and Caitlin was with Colby Mann. So she's paying both parties under the same docket.
Oh, I see. So it's split between Colby and Nina or Nina?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions.
Okay. I'll ask, don't mean any disrespect to Ms. Trim, but I'm gonna refer to you as Jessica because we'll get confusion with Nina Trim. So Jessica, this matter, when was the last time that you worked?
At Schlotsky's, and it wasn't long because me and my kids were living in a hotel for a year and just got out of a hotel. But I can make a payment today too.
Okay. When was the last time that you worked? Approximately. You don't have to have the exact date.
Like, hold on. Like last fall?
Fall of 2023?
Yes,
And where did you work then?
at Schlotsky's.
Okay. And you said you didn't work there very long.
No.
How long?
I think like 2 weeks.
Well, why did you only work 2 weeks?
My kids kept getting in trouble at school and I kept having to get them. And I didn't have anybody.
Before Schlotsky's, where did you work?
I didn't.
Okay. You didn't work.
My husband got
You
disability.
never worked before Schlotsky's?
I did, but I just can't remember where.
Okay. How long was it before Schlotsky's that you last worked?
I think like 6 or 7 months.
How much?
6 or 7 months, I think.
And where did you work at that time?
Goodwill, I believe.
And how long would you work at Tidwell?
I don't remember.
Okay, are we talking a week or are we talking 6 months?
Maybe a week.
And why did you leave after a week?
babysitter issues.
And before Tidwell, where did you work?
I did not, because I think I tried to apply for disability. There's a bunch of different gaps. Like, I can't remember every single place. I know I've worked in a few factories, but that's been a couple years.
Okay. Let me ask you, in the last 6 months, other than the job at Slosky's, in the last 6 months, what have you done to acquire employment?
Well, I mean, I haven't, like, I was going to leap for a second, and then after that, 2 months ago, my husband died, and then I've been dealing with things with my kids, the 5 kids that live with me, so I haven't really been working or looking for work right now. Because I've been dealing with everything else.
Ma'am, what's your education background?
I got a diploma from Christian Cornerstone.
Okay. Well, what can you tell me? What's going to change next week over this week so the court has any confidence that you're going to be able to pay your support obligation?
Well, I was gonna ask about, like, when that lady said that it was a split one, like, can I get it lowered some?
You can always file a petition to have your support obligation reviewed and modified, but you're going to have to do that. You have to go to the circuit court clerk's office and fill out the paperwork to have a review done, but that's going to be up to you to do that, ma'am.
Okay.
And you can do that anytime.
So what's the lowest payments that I would be able to make on it?
I have no idea. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to file the motion, and then at that time there'll be a hearing, and they'll take into consideration all sorts of things to determine what you
Well, those are my favorite.
what you could pay and what the what you could earn, et cetera. So there's a lot of things that have to be considered at that time.
Okay.
Your Honor,
Well, I talked.
What, Ms.
Oh.
Hoffman?
May I ask a few questions?
Sure, go ahead.
Thank you. Jessica, you said you'd be able to make a payment today. Is that the $150 payment you could make today?
Yes.
Okay, and then you also told me that you could make another $100 payment by April 10th. And then starting May 1st, you believe you could start making your obligation of $257.50. Is that right?
But I'm sorry, can you repeat? Did you say May 1st?
Yes, so that would give you like a little over a month to get your job secure and start working and get a payment so that you could May 1st start making your regular monthly payment.
Well, yeah, and then by then I was hoping to get the modification that he was talking about.
Right. So in between, and you can file a petition. You have to actually file the paperwork yourself, okay? You understand that?
Yes.
Okay, so file that and see where you can get with that, but in the meantime, you can make $150 payment today, $100 by April 10th, and then May 1st, start your regular monthly payment of $257.50. Is that right?
Yes,
Okay, you indicated you have 5 children of that live with you. How old are the children that live with you?
correct. I have a 10-year-old, I have a 9-year-old, a 7-year-old, a 5-year-old, she's gonna be 6, and then a 2-year-old.
Okay, so all but one are in school, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay, so you won't have the daycare issues, hopefully, and you'll be able to work, right?
right. I've just been having to go to my kids' school and do safety plans and other things because my kids have been going through something lately, so they've been getting in trouble.
Okay,
So,
and then you also indicated that your husband just passed away. Is he the father of those children?
no,
Okay, do you get
just
support for,
the youngest.
okay, do you get support for those children?
Well, I have, yes, Riley and Adeline.
You get child support for those 2 of them?
Yes, those are Colby's kids.
Oh, okay, and then you're going to get some type of benefit payment from the death of your husband for the youngest child, is that correct?
That's what I'm in the process right now, trying to get is the survivor benefits for her.
Okay, so there's some things coming up that are gonna be changing for you, and you expect to be getting some income, right?
Yes.
Okay, I don't believe I have any other questions. Thank you.
Jessica, you stated in response to your attorney that starting May 1, you can start making the monthly payments. How are you gonna do that?
Well, because I was like I said, I was hoping to get them modified. Like,
Well, what
at
if
least
you don't,
take-
what if you don't get it modified before May 1? Then you wouldn't be able to make your payments, isn't that correct?
correct.
So I don't have a
I
problem
mean,
with you making the payments starting May 1, but that's gonna require, as we stated, that's requires something on your behalf to file the petition, to have it all done and accomplished by May 1. Ms. Petrolia, you had something?
Yeah, I kind of want this addressed because while Jessica didn't tell me this, Nina did, that she apparently is pregnant now with a high-risk pregnancy. So I don't know how she's going to go out and look for work if she's got a high-risk pregnancy.
Well, maybe you can answer that, Jessica. How's that gonna happen?
because I still I can still do certain things, but right now I've just been dealing with my kids, my husband, my move. A lot of stuff has happened. And I have full sole custody of 2 of the kids that live with me. Well, and then my youngest, her dad just died, so I can start making payments.
Okay. Anything else, Ms. Huffman?
Nothing further, thank you.
Well, court's heard the testimony this matter. I guess I'll ask Nina Trim, do you have anything to add or say?
No,
Okay,
other than she has an autistic child.
okay. Well, the court has heard the testimony in this matter that, again, she has support of rearage just under $3,000. That, in fact, She has stated a lot of things that she can do, she's going to do. They all, quite frankly, appear to be pie in the sky based upon her current circumstances in this matter. It's not really a legitimate plan when you say, well, I'm going to do this, and I am going to do this, and I should be able to do this, when, again, the history has not shown that she's been able to do any of that stuff in this particular case. The times that she's worked has been for a minimal period of time, that she hasn't paid regularly and consistently since back in 2021. So we're now going on 3 years that she hasn't paid consistently. That the last job she had in fall of 2023 was for 2 weeks. And the time before that was she only worked a week. So the court's not, impressed with, again, the diligence in getting these matters resolved. Court will note that she has previously had a 45-day jail sentence back in 2017. And that as a result, obviously, she's clearly aware that she has a support obligation in this matter, that she's obviously aware of what she has to pay, that she has failed or refused to pay, and she's not exercised due diligence to do so. And when she had the resources, although they were limited at that time, she did not pay out of available resources as well. As a result, the court will find that she is in contempt of court. Anything, Ms. Huffman, before sentencing?
Yeah, so if the court intends to sentence her to jail time, I would ask the court to set the purge amount at $150, which she indicated she can pay today. And then with another payment due by April 10th of $100. Thank you.
Okay. Well, what the court is going to do in this matter, Jessica's court note that I could sentence up to 90 days in jail. I'm not going to do that because that's a substantial amount of time. But what I'm going to do is I am going to sentence you to 45 days in jail with credit for no time served. The court will allow you to purge yourself of contempt by paying the sum of $150 today. In fact, I'll give you actually until this Friday, March 22nd, and also require that you pay an additional purge amount of $100. So it's a purge amount of $250. You pay the $150 by this Friday, then you pay the $100 by April 10th, 2024. If in fact you fail to do so, then you will report to the sheriff no later than 4:00 p.m. on April 12, 2024 to serve your 45-day sentence. You understand that?
I don't actually, and I want to make sure that I understand.
Okay.
So
I'm ordering a 45-day jail sentence, but the purge amount, I'm giving you 2 dates to pay. The $150 purge amount you pay no later than this Friday, March 22nd, 2024. Then you pay the second part of the purge amount. It's a $250 purge, $150 this Friday, $100 on April 10, 2022. If you fail to pay those particular purge amounts on those dates, then you will report to the sheriff on April 12, 2024 to serve your 45 days in jail.
Is that by 4 p.m., Your Honor?
Excuse me?
Is that by 4 p.m.?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
4 p.m. on the April 12th date. So
Jessica, do you understand you have to make $150 payment by Friday and then another $100 by April 10th? If you do that, you do not have to go to jail. If you don't meet both of those dates and payments on both of those dates, you're going to have to go to jail at 4 p.m. on the 12th of April, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Now I get it.
Okay,
All
thank
right,
you.
good.
That will be the order of the court. You're free to go. Have a good day.
Thank
Ms.
you.
Huffman?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir. Mr.
Okay,
Hopkins, in this matter, you're before the court charged with civil contempt of court due to your failure to pay child support and or related expenses. Upon a first conviction, you could be ordered to serve up to 45 days in jail. If it's a second or subsequent offense, up to 90 days in jail. You understand the charges?
yes,
Okay. And in this matter, the court will inform you have a right to an attorney if in fact you wanted to have that attorney, the court would in fact provide you and allow you to have the attorney. You understand that?
yes,
And it's my understanding you wish to proceed without an attorney. Is that correct?
correct.
Are you doing so freely and voluntarily?
Yes,
Has anyone threatened you, coerced you, used any undue influence, pressure, or promises to get you to appear without an attorney?
no,
Okay. Then what we're going to do is court is going to find that Mr. Hawkins does freely and voluntarily waive his right to an attorney. And what we're going to do, Mr. Hawkins, I'm going to have you raise your right hand, be sworn in, and let you know Ms. Petrulio has already previously been sworn.
Sir, do you
Okay.
solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
yes,
Okay. Ms. Petrulio, you can proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is the case of Nadia Briggs versus Alan Hawkins, docket 2015-2860 DP. Mr. Hawkins is before the court by way of a bench warrant after he failed to appear for an adjourned hearing on October 17, 2022. He has a current support obligation of $69 a month. The arrearages pursuant to guideline would be $34.50 plus fees for a total monthly obligation of $107. His last payment that he paid on this case was $20 on August 18th, 2022. He did post a bond of $500. He booked into the county jail on March 1st and left the county jail the same day. So I would say time for no days, as he didn't serve a full day. He has had 2 prior show causes. This is his 3rd bench warrant. There has been a finding of contempt. In the last year, he should have paid $1,284. He's paid nothing. The arrearage is $2,362.10 through the month of February. He did have a 30-day jail sentence back on December 5th, 2018 that was stayed to allow him to participate in the delayed sentencing program. He didn't comply with that, and I think probably a bench warrant issued back then. But this failure to appear is due to an adjourned hearing that he failed to appear for on October 17th of 22. He is not currently working, by the way.
Okay. Mr. Hawkins, do you dispute or contest any of the statements made by Ms. Petrulio?
contest.
Yeah, or anything that she just said that you believe is inaccurate?
I mean, I know for sure that my rearages was higher than $2,000. It got lowered. I did pay a decent amount on that. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it got lowered. But I want to build a foundation on what I want to say to, I don't know, like because I feel like I'm not heard. I don't voice myself enough in court, and I want to voice myself right now and try to get you to understand where I'm coming from, if that makes sense.
Why don't you just tell me what you want to tell me rather than going into this gyration, because you're setting the stage for this doesn't do anything for me.
Okay, well, I know I'm on child support. I know I got to pay. That's very clear. I know I haven't been paying. That's very clear. My thing is my daughter, I take care of her. When she comes over, when she's in my possession, she don't need for nothing. She don't need for nothing. She can go to school, she eats, she's clean clothes, everything. I'm missing birthdays, Christmases, Thanksgiving, holidays, so many things. She moved her to Maryland without me knowing. She moved her to Maryland and didn't inform me. Um, and I had no idea about that. She moved her back to Michigan, didn't tell me. I had no idea about that. I don't even know what school she's attending. I don't know when the last time she had a doctor's appointment. Um, like these things I should know, because if I I'm sorry, if I'm paying child support, or if I'm supposed to be paying child support, I feel like I should know these things, and I don't know these things, and she's very well taken care of. It's not like like I'm out here just I'm sorry, but like out here on drugs or anything of that nature. She's very well taken care of. She can be educated and everything that a kid is supposed to do. She's 9 years old. So I'm just trying to figure out, is it a way for me to maybe see about the child support being uh ended somehow, or I give up my rights or something, because I feel like it's unfair, because I do my part as a father. I'm sorry not to gyrate, but I even got pulled over before, and the officers is like, yeah, you got a warrant for child support. I'm like, yeah, my daughter's right there. They see her, they like, dang, how many kids do you got? Long story short, I take care of my daughter regardless if I'm not giving you guys the money, or that sort of ordeal. But I just want to figure out, how can I do better, or try to get this whole child support thing like minimized, because I take care of her.
Okay.
I had her from July to September 2023. Had her for 3 months.
Okay, well, I'll tell you, sir, first of all, what we're here today on is the issue of child support. So all those other issues, you have a right to file a motion seeking intervention, if you would, from the court, or getting modification. But that's separate from today's hearing. That has nothing to do with today. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to go to the circuit court clerk's office and
Okay.
get a pro per motion packet, and then you file a motion stating whatever it is that you want. Okay?
I'm sorry. What can I write that down real quick? I'm sorry. You said it was a pro what?
Pro per, meaning yourself, you're there, a
Okay.
motion. And the motion would be, I don't know, if you want to change custody, pay parenting time, get information. A motion is just a request to the court, and you can ask for anything that you're legally entitled to, but you're going to have to do that separately. That doesn't have
Okay.
anything to do with your support obligation.
Okay. And I'm sorry. I never asked, or I never voiced myself. So that's why I just want to know that information.
Nope, you have all that. If she moves the child out of state without court approval, then you have a right to file to have her held in contempt of court for doing
Yes,
that.
yes.
But
And I would like
that's up to you. You've got to file it. The court doesn't initiate it because, as you can imagine, we have tens of thousands of cases, and we don't know
Yeah.
what's going on in those cases.
Yeah.
So that's
understand.
up to you. It's up to you to bring it to the attention of the court. If you do, the court will address it at that time.
Okay.
So-
Will do.
In this matter, tell me, why have you not paid any support since August of 2022?
I mean, kind of going back to what I said, besides me not paying, I have her. I just I be having her, and I don't have a car. That's the number one thing that I told the enforcement officer. I don't have a car. That's the biggest problem right now. I don't have a job, so money's
Okay,
tight
why don't you have a job?
because I don't have reliable transportation. I don't.
Well, there are places, could you find a job close to where you live, or take public transportation or
Yeah,
something like that?
I'm sorry. As of right now, yes, I've been looking for jobs in walking distance. so I don't have to worry about transportation. But as of right now, it's just I'm job searching and I'm doing my best.
Okay, in the last 6 months, how many jobs have you applied for?
I say about probably like over 10. Over 10, plenty of jobs. I don't have that much of work history, so a lot of jobs haven't like they'll hold me off and put me on the shelf until they feel like they can call me because of my work history isn't so well.
When was the last time you worked?
Last time I worked, I believe I was working at Hilex out in the fort, I believe 2022. 2020, I was working at Subway 2021. I believe I started working January 1st at Hilex 2022. And they ended that assignment, so I haven't had a job since then.
Are you registered with any employment agencies?
Express Employment, don't let me lie. I don't want to lie to you. EPI, I believe. I know they get mixed up. It's WSI and EPI. Manpower. I just applied for Magna. I have a brother that works out there, and Denzo as well. And that was recently in the past month. I just did those.
And do you know why you have not gotten a job?
Me, like I was saying, me personally, because of my work history, because I don't have that much of work history, and it's a year gap between my work history, they don't really want me, or like they it's not like they don't want me. They put me on the shelf and just have me on call for when a position do open up for someone like me.
How have you supported yourself in the last year if you've not have any income?
I babysit for my sisters. I got 2 sisters with over 2 kids. I babysit for them, and they paid me side money on the side.
How much do you make on a given month babysitting?
On a month babysitting, I say about $400.
Okay. And that's during this entire time when you haven't been paying any support.
Yeah, but
Okay.
in between that, I'm sorry not to cut you off, Your Honor, but in between that time, I have had my child. I have taken care of her.
Okay.
It wasn't like I just had the money and was just gambling it away, nothing like that. She was a part of that money as well. It wasn't like it was just gone, like just being spent.
Well, and that will be the subject of another motion that you file, but I'm not addressing that today.
Okay. Yeah, it's just I don't know.
What's your education background, sir?
I dropped out in 11th grade, so high
In
school.
what grade?
11th.
Have you sought your GED?
No, I know it's a few programs, I believe, at across the street from the library that I heard a few times. I never applied for it, honestly.
Why is that?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I never did it. I never took the time out my day to go do it.
Okay. Well, sounds like you got a lot of days with a lot of time that you could do it, so.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
it's hard for me to.
Anything else that you'd like me to be aware of, sir?
I'm sorry, just let me brainstorm a little bit what else I was supposed to bring up to your attention. No, I think that's it. I do gotta file those motions.
Okay. Well, in this case, the court make the following finding that Mr. Hawkins does have a minimal support obligation in this case, approximately $107 per month. So he doesn't have a substantial amount. As he stated, he hasn't worked since back in 2022. Other than currently, he is working babysitting for sisters, where he's making $400 per month, and he has, in fact, the entire time of the last year up to the current time. So the court will find that he has had available resources in which to pay his support obligation, because it is a nominal amount at $107 that he's failed or refused to comply. He's well aware of the support obligation that he has, obviously having previously been held in contempt back in 2018, where he had basically had 30 days in jail. And
Your Honor.
What?
I'm sorry. I'm not gonna say I never, but I wasn't too clear on how much I was supposed to pay every month. The last time I spoke with the judge was a while ago, and
well, all you have to do, sir, is check the circuit court clerk's office, and you can look at your file, and in your file, there's an order for support obligation. So you don't have to rely upon your memory. You can get that from the clerk's office anytime you want.
Okay, I didn't have that information. I didn't know I could do that.
Yep. Court will note that, again, that Mr. Hawkins has stated that he has applied in the last 6 months. He's put in about 10 applications. I will tell you, sir, you could put in 10 applications in one day if you were diligently seeking to get employment. So the court's not impressed with your effort in that regard. Court will find that you, again, fail or refuse to pay out available resources and fail or refuse to make reasonable attempts at compliance, and therefore you are in contempt of court. Is there anything you'd like to say before sentencing, sir?
No, sir.
Okay. Well, you had previously received 30-day jail sentence that you didn't serve. I could sentence you up to 90 days in jail. I'm not going to do it that much. What I'm going to do is I am going to sentence you again to 30 days in jail. I am going to give you credit for 1 day served. You were not in jail the entire day, but you should get credit for the time you were there. So you get credit for 1 day served. The court will order that you report to the sheriff no later than March 29, 2024 at 4:00 p.m. Or in the alternative, you can pay a purge amount of $500. So you show up to the jail on March 29, 2024 at 4:00 p.m. or you have $500 paid before that time. You understand?
Yeah, so so before that time, I just got to bring 500 and I'll be
Yep, $500 paid at the front of the court's office before the March 29, and then you won't have to serve the jail time.
Okay, I can
yeah.
Is the bond of 500 that he posted forfeited?
The bond is, yeah, thank you, Ms. Patricia. Yeah, the bond is forfeited, but you have to pay another 500 before that date.
I'm sorry, can I ask why is it forfeited? Because I walked to the courthouse. I didn't know that it was a Zoom call. I was there.
Well, again, I'm not going to address that. That's, again, not before me either. The bond you posted is forfeited. So, again, that has nothing to do with today's proceeding, because today's proceeding is whether you were in contempt, which the court has held you in contempt of. So you pay between now and the 29th, you pay $500 if you want to stay out of jail.
I would ask too, Your Honor, that all future hearings be scheduled in front of the assigned judge hearings.
That's fine. The court will have future hearings before the court.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
Your Honor?
Yeah.
Is it a way I can switch my enforcement officer as well?
Nope. Yeah, unless there's a basis, you'd have to go through the front of the court for that.
And what is a base issue?
I'm saying if there's a basis, if you have a basis, you'd have to go through and file something with the front of the court to seek to have a change.
Okay.
I'm not going to give you a litany of that so that you can then say these are the reasons. If you have a legitimate reason, then you file with the front of the court and they will make a determination whether that's appropriate.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Thank you. You're free to go. Have a good day.